CyberConnect 2 have worn plenty of hats. They've given us lots of action RPGs, from the fake MMO style of the .hack series to vehicle-based combat in Sora Torobo, as well as about 11 million Naruto games. Recently, they've even been working on that mobile phone port of the G-Bike minigame from Final Fantasy VII, which you probably read about months ago, raged about for a few seconds, and promptly forgot. They managed to put together a decent experience, regardless of the property they're working with, kind of like the Eastern equivalent of WayForward, one might postulate, and have recently turned those skills towards one of the strangest anime licenses one can obtain. Behold JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle, a thing that exists and taxes the limits of even my brain. I know the internet understands at least this part though, so we'll start here. Yeah, sure, you've seen that somewhere at least. This ambitious undertaking seeks to roll up a few dozen characters, several storylines, and a manga series that's been running for almost 3 decades into a one-on-one 3D fighter. I don't even know where to begin, as even the story mode eschews most of the backstory in favor of completely new scenarios. Sure, they try to make some explanations, but if you're not already down with what looks like Choaniki meets Persona 4 Arena, it's an uphill struggle. Chances are, if you could follow that last analogy, you're already down. So let's get into the actual mechanics. Fighting games. Arr. Despite the 3D stages, most of the actual combat occurs in one plane, with a roll button allowing for dodges into the fore or background. I kind of recognize that mechanic from the King of Fighters 2006. Alright, I'm set. Each stage has a number of hazards as well, further justifying the 3D feel, as you'll occasionally have to duck out of the way of falling debris or passing cars. Aside from your dodging, the rest of the controls fall into the standard for the Street Fighter lineage, with holding back to block, quarter circle and dragon punch motions to access the particularly shiny attacks, and a gauge at the bottom of the screen to store power for your big camera-controlling super shiny attacks. In a series like this, where everyone's really freaking shiny themselves, these super shiny attacks are that much more shiny, and probably loaded with references to sex and rock and roll. Outside of your standard arcade and head-to-head modes, there's an extensive story mode which explains just what the heck's going on in this abdominally toned, hat-centric world, in the form of several different storylines, each with unique stipulations. Which is a cool idea, creating scenarios that have in-game ramifications, but quite often this results in many stages of a particular story being character X versus character Y again, only this time we've changed 2 parameters. Of course, you can just bounce around the stories for a little variety. Man, that's a weak rationalization. Alright, putting the story aside. There's the campaign mode, which allows you to hunt down bosses created by other players, fight them, and win medals, which can be used to, well, create your own bosses, as well as unlock new colors and taunt sets and other nifty goodies for your ever-expanding roster. The game starts with just around a dozen playable characters, but it can expand to over 40 after taking account story-based unlocks and DLC. Yes, those 3 evil letters, deal with it. Alright, so it's a polarizing game based on a polarizing and really freaking long franchise. But based on its own merit, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle is pretty freaking impressive. The graphics utilize a custom-built engine to give it that ripped right from the pages look, and aren't afraid to play with the camera work mid-battle for particularly dramatic attacks. Similarly, when you've got characters named Aramis Costello, Vanilla Ice, and Robert E.O. Speedwagon, there's a certain expectation in the soundtrack department, much as if the characters were named Zappa, Slayer, and Soul Bad Guy. All-Star Battle comes up trumps that the sound effects during combat can be a bit on the loud side and drown some of it out. That's a quick fiddle with the settings away, and then you're back into the action, dodging road rollers and baseballs and whatnot. Just watch out for old dudes stabbing you from inside pictures. That creeped me out.